Hello and welcome to News Central TV. I am Chiwete Onyema. The top stories this hour. Opposition coalition party African Democratic Congress inaugurates former Senate President David Mark as its interim national chairman. House of Representatives rejects Senate's orthopedic hospital bill over lack of concurrence. Guinea's ruling junta wants to extend presidential terms from 5 to 7 years with a 2-term limit. The details shortly. We begin with politics. The African Democratic Congress has inaugurated former Senate President David Mark as its interim national chairman. Mark was appointed alongside former Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola, who now serves as the party's national secretary. The official handover was conducted at a coalition meeting in Abuja, which brought together members and stakeholders from various political parties.
We all decided to resign so that he can pedal this canoe and get us to the villa. The endorsement that we got and which we're today going to give to distinguished Senator David Mark as interim national chairman of ADC, also with the same mandate, the approval of Governor Rauf Aregbesola as national secretary.
Let history record that when our democracy faltered, we rose not in fear, but in faith. Let it be known today across Nigeria and beyond, the opposition is united. The platform is APC. The time is now. The mission is clear. Rescue Nigeria, rebuild Nigeria, return power to the people.
Earlier, international journalist and policy analyst Adeni Ikunu shared his thoughts on this.
Of choice came as shock to very many people, considering the fact that the political party has been tinkering with the ADA issue only for them to choose the ADC. But to be fair on the ADC, it has to be said that for the past 16 years thereabouts, the ADC has actually repeatedly come between first and fourth position, and even in the last election, the ADC was between the first and seventh position. So if we understood the consistency in the position the party held, perhaps certain things have been properly researched, and those who have chosen the party have come to the realization of how important the party is in the scheme of politicking in Nigeria. As such, they made that decision.
In the meantime, the Plateau State House of Assembly has a new speaker. His name is Nalong Daniel, who was elected to fill the office following the resignation of Gabriel Dawan. The development came during an emergency sitting at the temporary assembly complex at the Old Government House in Jos. The new speaker was a former majority leader in the 9th Assembly and represents Mekong State constituency. He was unanimously chosen by the members to lead the 24-member assembly. The development reportedly followed a closed-door session between Governor Caleb Mutfwang, the former Speaker Gabriel Dawan, and other lawmakers.
I came as a speaker to unify the Plateau State at the time that the political atmosphere was very tensed. I'm alone in my political party. I'm the youngest member in the assembly. And in order to respect the gentleman agreement in power sharing of Plateau State, I came after stabilizing the House. I felt it's necessary to step aside to give Plateau State the better political sharing formula where the governor, the deputy governor, and the speaker should come from the 3 different senatorial districts. It is on that basis that I decided to resign on my own.
I can tell you that we are all happy today. If you see my colleagues, it was a unanimous decision that I am being made today the Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly. And I can tell you millions of people out there are celebrating it because that is the spirit of Plateau. Plateau wants the kind of development that will reflect every zone to have equal representation. The former speaker didn't do anything personal to us. He makes a commitment in the interests of Plateau State to step aside and to allow for the zone to be nominated the next speaker. And it is in that spirit of unity that all of us came together. And then, of course, a simple election was midwife. And then I emerged as the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly.
Let me congratulate the new Speaker. Today, faith has bestowed upon you this leadership. It is a weight that has been placed on your shoulders. A weight to ensure that Plateau State is governed well.
In a rather heated session, the House of Representatives has rejected a Senate proposal seeking establishment of a federal orthopedic hospital in Obokun, Osun State, citing the Red Chamber's repeated failure to give concurrence to several House bills. Lawmakers insist they will no longer approve Senate-originated bills unless there is a firm committed to reciprocate. Our correspondent, Indong Joseph, has more on this.
We should step it down, and probably you find out from them what the problems and the challenges have been.
The bill seeking to amend the Federal Orthopedic Hospital Management Act to establish a new hospital in Obokun, Osun State, was introduced by the House Leader, Julius Ehonbere.
I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Federal Orthopedic Hospital Management Act to establish Federal Orthopedic Hospital Obokun, Osun State, and for related matters, SB 165 be read a second time by so move.
But before debate gains momentum, Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda raised a procedural objection, citing the Senate's persistent failure to give concurrence to multiple bills earlier passed by the House.
I have a very strong reservation on seconding this bill coming from Senate. I've made this complaint and I will still make it again. We work so hard here to get bills passed, but the bills are slowed down in the Senate.
Honorable Gino, please.
We take Senate bills here.
We should reciprocate.
The objection prompted reactions from several lawmakers who unanimously agreed for an outright rejection of the bill to send a strong message to the Red Chamber.
I have two bills that have been in the Senate as early as 2024. And Mr. Speaker, up till now, they have not been listed for concurrence. The same thing happened to my bills in the 9th Assembly.
I don't know where the problem lies, but my suggestion is the Rules and Business Committee of the House should liaise with the Rules and Business Committee of the Senate and sign a deal.
They have done that separately in the past.
Good. So it's better we make it verbatim that if they don't do our own, in the next sitting we are not going to do their own.
So this bill is stepped down by the leave of the House.
The House then moved to consider 9 bills which passed the second reading, including a proposal to establish a national sickle cell institution, as well as an amendment to the Nigeria Police Act mandating the 15% female representation in recruitment and training. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
The Emir of Kano, Mohamedou Sanusi II, believes the transformative potential of technology, such as the artificial intelligence in the legal field, will not only expedite judicial processes, but also strengthen public trust in the legal system through increased transparency and efficiency. He said this at the 19th Annual Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association Section on Business Law in Lagos on Wednesday. News Central correspondent Victor Mbadike tells us more.
These set the tone for conversations around building an adaptive framework that empowers business lawyers to deliver more efficient, transparent, and globally competitive legal services.
This conference is not just about the future of business law, it is about the future of business.
The legal industry in Nigeria is experiencing a critical shift as stakeholders, lawyers and opinion molders gather to explore the transformative power of technology in legal practice.
When we increasingly criminal laws dealing with public funds, then you wonder whether we are really ready for some of these things. When you have to wait for a long time to get a copy of a judgment delivered by a court, after being told that the judgment is being edited, and still have a certified true copy of SIM containing so many grammatical and clerical errors, you wonder how ready are we?
The Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, who was represented by senior counselor at the Emirates, believes technology will help reshape the legal industry in Nigeria.
We have to be proactive in terms of looking ahead and providing laws that will balance between development technologically, innovating, and at the same time ensuring justice and equity.
Organizers remain optimistic that firms, business lawyers who embrace legal tech are better positioned to improve efficiency and remain competitive in the global industry.
Digitizing, for instance, the recording of court proceedings so that judges no longer have to manually take notes. That is one very easy way in which technology can help move our judiciary forward. For legal practitioners, sometimes we deal with agreements that are hundreds of pages. So usually it just takes hours and hours to draft, to review, to negotiate these agreements.
So what do businesses stand to gain from the outcome of this conference? It's simple. It's a mind shift of everything that we think business is about and how automation is going to change that.
A compelling story narrative has been shared on this platform today to bring about that paradigm shift on the use of technology on business law and any other business for that matter, from the courtrooms, the boardrooms, to classrooms, and even government agencies, all to create a system today that will deliver tomorrow. In Lagos for News Central TV, Victor Mbadike.
Now, there's more. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, the Nigerian Army says it remains committed to national security, protecting the citizens and safeguarding the nation's democracy. At a press briefing held at the Army headquarters in Abuja, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, gave the assurance ahead of its 162nd anniversary celebration. Represented by the Chief of Civil Military Affairs, Major General Gold Chibuisi, Oluyede says that the 2025 celebration aims to honor fallen heroes, highlight operational successes, and strengthen partnerships in the ongoing fight against terrorism and other internal threats.
In recent times, our nation has had to contend with the enemies of peace and agents of chaos who have brought terrorism to our borders and caused a plethora of internal security issues. Notwithstanding, Nigerian people and the perpetuity of our democracy. The Nigerian Army Day celebration provides an opportunity to showcase our achievements thus far and deepen collaboration with federal stakeholders towards enhancing peace, security, and the defense of our national values.
Now to infrastructure, the federal government has officially commissioned a 16.4-kilometer stretch of newly dualized and upgraded roads connecting Ushafa to the War College, Army Checkpoint, and other surrounding areas within Buhari Area Council in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. News Central's correspondent Aisha Salihu has more on this report.
Focus shifted to Buhari Area Council as the federal government reaffirmed its commitment to infrastructural development across the Federal Capital Territory. Officials noted that improving road networks is essential to boosting mobility and economic activity, especially in satellite towns, including Ushafa, that serve as gateways to the city center.
These dualized and upgraded roads will not only ease traffic congestion, they will breathe new life into economic activities, improve access to education and healthcare, and uplift the overall quality of life for the good people of Ushafa, Buhari, and the neighboring communities.
This is the first time a sitting president, a vice president, will go to the satellite towns to identify with them, to tell the people in the satellite town, as we are doing for the city, so also we'll care for you.
For years, residents endured hardship due to the poor condition of the road. But now, they say, the transformation has brought a renewed sense of hope and convenience, though they emphasize that maintenance is critical to sustaining the project's impact.
You can even trek from here. Before, we cannot even trek to our houses. But now, without bike, comfortably safe, nothing will happen. You can trek to your various houses even without bike, even at night.
When you're driving, you have to jump a lot of potholes to get to your house or to the market or to walk or to even get to the road there. But now that it's been constructed, we are really happy.
From my place to the health center, oh boy, you just, maybe induced labor will just affect because of the road is very bad. And it was during that rainy season that I gave birth to my child. But now, from my site to there, before you say Jack, I'm in the hospital already.
Complete this project 1 year, we will do the maintenance. After the 1 year, of course, the local government supposed to be do maintenance. And for example, every year, if they do the maintenance, this road long lasts more than 50 years.
Residents and officials of the FCTA believe that only when every part of Abuja receives equal attention of infrastructural development will the capital truly function at its best. In Abuja, for News Central, Aishat Salihu.
The Oko Oba Abattoir in Agege, Lagos State has officially been reopened, but only after meeting Lagos State's sanitation benchmarks. Authorities say this is the second shutdown in 2 years. News Central's Ameze Bazoaye investigates whether this time the reforms will be sustained or old habits will return.
Following its indefinite closure on June 19th for environmental violations, the Oko-Oba Abattoir was reopened on June 28th after operators substantially complied with hygiene requirements. Lagos State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokubo Wahab, announced that the traders have promised to comply with hygiene prescriptions. As part of the reopening conditions, monthly inspections by the Environment Ministry are now mandatory. The shutdown had highlighted serious public health risks. Untreated waste in drainage channels had threatened to unleash waterborne diseases and polluted residential areas. An interaction with the butchers themselves revealed that they are ready to maintain hygiene standards.
The government wanted us to, to clean the environment. And the meat, they want it to be in a very hygienic state. Since we are giving it to the population in Lagos, they don't want to compromise anything that will harm or become epidemic to the people of Lagos State. The government took it upon himself that they have to come in here and clean the environment entirely, and which is exactly what we have done.
During its closure, meat prices immediately shot up by 20 to 30% in other markets as vendors scrambled to fill the supply gap. Butchers, loaders and stall workers also felt the pinch, jobless during the one-week closure.
Many of our people, we don't know how much they lost because some of the cow died, some of the cow fall down, but we know say we have big loss in this market. But we thank God, as government here, our boys look us, come and open this place for us.
The gates of Okoba Abattoir have reopened and the knives are back at work. But after 2 shutdowns in just 2 years, trust in the system is hanging in the balance. The question now is, will the authorities make compliance more than just a word, or should we expect yet another shutdown? In Lagos, for News Central, Ameze Bazwaye.
In a major boost for food security, Konduga in Nigeria's Borno State has experienced a bumper rice harvest that has led to a price drop from 4,500 naira to just 2,800 naira per measure. The transformation follows joint efforts by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction and the World Food Programme to shift from reactive food aid to proactive agricultural investment. News Central's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
Over the past 4 months, farmers in Konduga, one of the local government areas recovering from insurgency in Nigeria's northeast, received agricultural inputs to boost productivity. Kabiru Balarabe, one of the farmers who had lost virtually everything to the insurgency, now has regained his means of survival.
Wata hudu da suka gabata, kafin mu yi harvesting, kafin mu cire ainihin amfanin gonanmu, ana sai da tiyar shinkafa naira dubu nawa ake sai da ta, 4,000 da wani abu ake sai da ta. Amma tun lokacin da aka ba wata 2 baya da suka wuce da muka yi amfanin gonan nan, muka cire shi, yanzu gashi nan ya hana masara tashi, ya hana dawa tashi, ya hana gero tashi. Yanzu abin da ake sai da tiyar shinkafa a nan garin nan, abin da muka sai da ta 2,800 ake sai da tiyar shinkafa.
Officials say more local government areas will benefit as the World Food Programme, alongside both federal and state governments, expand their investment model to other parts of the northeast.
We have here is about 50 hectares, and then all around we have in total 400 hectares that are being supported by this project. We are going to install mega irrigation scheme.
The success of this project has shown us what is possible when development meets local commitment. We believe this model must be replicated across other recovering areas, not just to feed people, but to rebuild economies and restore lives.
The initiative is said to target both displaced persons, host communities, and returnees.
We're doing our best here at the World Food Programme to support the government, to support you all, and that means to help you become farmers again, because that is the ultimate, I think, solution here.
Government will improve the investment in this place. I will take personal responsibility to ensure that we expand the access, we expand the number of solar panels and solar discs that will provide to people of this place.
A community where a recent explosion by suspected Boko Haram had resulted in the death of 12 individuals, the Konduga community remains resilient to earn their means of livelihood, boost economy, and increase income to these individuals recovering from insurgency. In Konduga for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
The federal government has inaugurated the Research and Innovation Commercialization Committee aimed at converting research findings from Nigerian tertiary institutions into commercially viable products and services. Inaugurating the committee in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa, said the move aligns with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to transition Nigeria into a knowledge-driven economy. Chaired by Dr. Tayo Aduloju of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, the committee brings together stakeholders from academia, industry, and government.
Apart from transitioning research outputs into goods and services, for addressing
societal challenges, the commercialization research outcomes has several other benefits. It bridges the gap between academia and industry, thereby fostering strong collaboration between universities, research institutions, and the private sector. It also facilitates revenue generation for institutions and researchers.
For too long, there has been a worrisome disconnect between the academia and the industry, such that research is being conducted in our tertiary institutions has become a mere tool for career advancement. Our tertiary institutions should be a breeding ground for creativity, original thinking, and innovation that shape our well-being as well as drive socio-economic development.
We will interrogate this investment and research. We think Tech Fund is a catalyst, but when we are done, we must go beyond Tech Fund to create a pathway for the catalyzation of investment at scale in research.
We remain enthusiastic about building a knowledge-based economy that is enduring, globally competitive, inclusive, and driven by homegrown solutions.
Coming up, Guinea's ruling junta wants to extend presidential terms from 5 to 7 years with a 2-term limit. We'll tell you more after the break. My right. Move it a bit. Just move it a bit. Is it better? There's a lot of headroom, so maybe you bring a second pillow or raise this thing. Oh. We're good. We're good. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, Guinea's ruling junta wants to extend presidential terms from 5 to 7 years with a 2-term limit, according to a draft constitution due to be put to a referendum in September. The draft was presented last Thursday to General Mamadi Doumbouya, head of the junta that ousted President Alpha Conde in 2021, won in a series of military coups in West Africa. Now, it did not specify whether Doumbouya would be able to run for president when the country returns to democratic elections. The upcoming referendum is meant to pave the way for a return to constitutional rule in the country, where the junta has placed sharp curbs on citizens' freedoms since taking power. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, recently split in two, with Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic moving away to form the Alliance of Sahel States in response to the red-hot hostility beamed on them by the rest of the 13-member community as a result of military takeovers. As the regional body turns 50 years, News Central's Israel Eferabor examines what this shock exit means for the region and the future of integration in West Africa.
It's a split that many feared, but few expected. Mali, Burkina Faso, and the Niger Republic, three countries at the heart of the Sahel, walking away from ECOWAS, each under military rule, each citing sovereignty, distrust and disappointment with the bloc's leadership. Has ECOWAS made progress over the years, and is there any chance of these breakaway countries returning?
ECOWAS at 50 is still forging ahead beautifully. Even though the challenges are on the increase, the future is still bright. If all efforts are made, the countries that left, they can come back as a group that establish the African Economic Community.
Successful intervention in the world, in history, is that of ECOMOG. ECOMOG helped to restore two sovereign nations, restored Liberia, restored Sierra Leone.
The consequences are significant. Security collaboration across the region could suffer. Joint economic and trade deals may stall. And the dream of a single West African currency is once again in limbo. Some stakeholders think that the body has been weak in responding to the crisis in the region.
The major rationale of ECOWAS problem today is the neglect of the position of the people of West Africa. When you are talking about all these statistics all along, it's the statistics of the people. We should place greater emphasis on ECOWAS of people and not ECOWAS of states.
We also have to see how ECOWAS has adapted creatively in the last 50 years to the changing global environment.
There are growing calls for ECOWAS to reform, making it more transparent, more inclusive, and more responsive to the people it represents, which begs the question, is regional integration under threat?
The ECOWAS still continues, but those who break away are reconstituting themselves into another regional group. So we are now having sub-regional group. So integration itself is still the ultimate objective.
As West Africa stands at this critical crossroads, what happens next will determine not just the fate of ECOWAS, but the future of regional unity. The challenge now is clear: rebuild trust, reimagine cooperation, and restore the soul of integration. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Eferobor.
In the meantime, members of the ECOWAS Parliament say that the lack of cooperation among member states, including competition, a lack of adequate infrastructure, and unavailable laws, are affecting the integration of artificial intelligence in the region's educational sector. The lawmakers, while meeting in Dakar, Senegal, are calling on member states to unite and promote the integration of AI in the region's education ecosystem. Idong Joseph compiled this report.
The advent and application of artificial intelligence in the last few years has grown tremendously. While experts say AI can offer solutions to regional challenges, they also add that it possesses immense potential that can improve learning.
Artificial intelligence has immense potential as a learning partner. And it also creates new opportunities for and new demands on the workforce of tomorrow as AI takes over more and more tasks on the technical side. So,
at this session in Dakar, Senegal, members of the ECOWAS Parliament meet with the theme Artificial Intelligence for Education and Skill Development in West Africa. Experts here say educators must be empowered with adequate training on AI so that they can effectively train future generations to leverage its benefits.
Whilst we are delegating more tasks to AI, we need to be able to empower the workforce with the critical skills to be able to use this AI and the critical skills to be more analytic as they leave more of the mundane technical tasks for AI to use.
Lawmakers at the session, however, expressed factors, fears and challenges affecting the adoption and implementation of AI among West African countries. They say that some of these include a lack of cooperation among ECOWAS member states, competition, lack of adequate infrastructure, including unavailable laws that will foster its integration and control its use.
We cannot reason together. We cannot hold together. Senegal wants to be the first. Nigeria wants to be the first. Nigeria wants to be the first. And once you become the first, instead of you bringing your friends together, you want to show how you're powerful than the other person. We must understand that West Africa is a village. And it takes a village to raise a child.
L'harmonisation du programme et que ce qui est enseigné en Guinée soit enseigné au Sénégal, en Côte d'Ivoire, etc., etc. Une harmonisation du diplôme et des attestations. Et pourquoi pas une harmonisation même des épreuves, des examens.
Por isso é fundamental, ao falarmos aqui da harmonização, CEDEAO ainda tem muito trabalho a fazer. Temos que pensar num quadro jurídico bem definido e podemos basear alguns exemplos de alguns países que já estão muito avançados ao falarmos da harmonização.
Nous autres, demandé que ce Parlement de la CEDEAO nous ait aidé un peu les États qui constituent ce Parlement, les aider dans le sens de trouver la vraie législation.
Participants here are also calling on ECOWAS to take a lead and promote harmonized laws among its member states to support the integration of AI into education.
Republican leaders in the U.S. Congress delayed a key vote for hours on Donald Trump's signature tax and spending bill on Wednesday as they scrambled to win over a group of rebels threatening to torpedo the centerpiece of the president's domestic agenda. Trump is seeking final approval in the House of Representatives for his Senate-passed One Big Beautiful bill, but faces opposition on all sides of his fractious party over provisions set to balloon the national debt while launching a historic assault on the social safety net. House Speaker Mike Johnson told lawmakers to return to their offices, holding open a series of afternoon procedural votes required before final approval for more than 3 hours after it was first called with no sign of the stalemate breaking. In the U.S., where the White House has announced it is halting key weapons shipments to Ukraine, a move that could significantly impact the war effort against Russia. The Biden-era military support is now being reassessed under President Donald Trump's administration, coming at a time Ukraine is accusing North Korea of planning to send as many as 30,000 troops to bolster Russia's forces. International correspondent Afua Hagen has more.
Today, a blow to Ukraine's battlefield prospects. The White House says it is pausing key weapons deliveries, including Patriot missile systems, precision artillery, and Hellfire missiles, as part of a sweeping Pentagon review. White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly said the move is about putting America's interests first, citing depleted stockpiles and shifting global priorities. The decision comes as Ukraine faces one of the heaviest waves of Russian missile and drone attacks in the 3-year-old war. In the past 24 hours alone, drone strikes killed civilians in Ukraine's Kharkiv region, and Kyiv has responded with deep strikes inside Russian territory. Critics warn the weapons pause could weaken Ukraine's defences. Former US Ambassador to Russia, Michael McFaul, called the decision disgusting and embarrassing. At last week's NATO summit, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pressed Trump for more Patriot missiles, but received only a vague answer. Meanwhile, analysts say Russia has dramatically increased its aerial attacks, and despite spending over $64 billion on defence this year, Ukraine remains heavily reliant on US and European aid. As President Trump redirects focus to global hotspots like Gaza and Iran, questions are growing about what role the US will continue to play in Ukraine's defence and what message this shift sends to allies around the world. The Pentagon has not directly commented on the halted shipments, but insists US forces remain fully capable. As Ukraine's needs grow more urgent, the impact of this pause will be closely watched across NATO and beyond. For News Central, I'm Fia Hagen.
Now to Europe, where a French parliamentary inquiry has concluded that the state has failed to prevent and address abuse in schools following a major investigation into the Notre Dame de Bethlehem scandal. The Commission presented 50 recommendations to support victims and strengthen measures to prevent, monitor, and punish abuse. Lawmakers have heard from 135 individuals, including survivors, and cited persistent violence across French schools. Former Education Minister Francois Bayrou was accused of inaction during his 1993 to 1997 tenure, with co-rapporteurs claiming abuse at Bethlehem continued due to his failure to intervene. Bayrou, however, denied wrongdoing and labeled the report a campaign of destruction. Despite growing pressure, including a recent no-confidence vote, he survived. The inquiry is not expected to refer the case to court.
Cette défaillance majeure, c'est celle d'un État qui n'a pas assumé ses responsabilités pendant très longtemps, jusqu'à exposer des élèves à des violences terribles, les exposer aux crimes de groupes de criminels qui ont pu ravager des vies pendant des décennies parfois. Et donc face à cette situation, face à cette carence insupportable, inacceptable, nous appelons à une révolution dans des moyens du contrôle qu'il faut renforcer, conforter, clarifier. Et moi je constate que François Bayrou s'est parjuré devant notre commission d'enquête en prétendant avoir envisagé de porter plainte en diffamation contre le journal Mediapart le 11 février dernier, à propos d'un article qui a été publié le 12 mars. C'était donc impossible. À travers cette annonce de plainte en diffamation, François Bayrou, en vérité, menaçait les journalistes dans l'exercice de leur travail d'investigation, et a, à ce moment-là, manifesté sa volonté de maintenir une omerta autour de Bethlehem et autour, plus largement, de la question des violences commises par des adultes sur des élèves.
And now to business. Nigeria has approved 37 new evacuation routes across oil-producing regions to bolster crude oil security and reduce losses. Perpetua Fasomi Peter has more on this and other stories in this report.
The Nigerian government has approved 37 new evacuation routes across oil-producing regions to bolster crude oil security and reduce losses. Announced at the Nigerian Oil and Gas Energy Week in Abuja, the initiative led by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) will deploy new pipelines, barging parts, and infrastructure to safely transport crude from wellheads to refineries and export terminals. NUPRC CEO Gbenga Komolafe said the move aims to protect output, deter sabotage, and improve accountability as part of a broader strategy to strengthen energy resilience and support local refining. To East Africa now, Kenya plans to privatize key state-owned enterprises through initial public offerings to attract private investment and reduce reliance on external debt. President William Ruto announced this at the London Stock Exchange. According to him, the initiative will begin with the listing of the Kenya Pipeline Company on the Nairobi Securities Exchange later this year. Ruto said the government is committed to a structured, time-bound program targeting core assets for privatization. And at a separate event, he emphasized Kenya's pivot towards self-reliance and private capital, especially after foreign aid cuts like the recent elimination of U.S. aid by President Donald Trump. To international markets now, British bond markets saw their worst day since October 2022 on Wednesday as 10-year gilt yields jumped 22 basis points to 4.68%, following Finance Minister Rachel Reeves' emotional appearance in Parliament. The turmoil came a day after the government unexpectedly scaled back welfare spending plans, triggering investor concern. The pound dropped over 1% to $1.3589, while UK mid-cap stocks also slumped. The market reaction echoed the instability seen during former PM Liz Truss's short-lived budget crisis, fueling fears of renewed fiscal uncertainty. And finally, a record number of Americans are expected to travel this 4th of July, with many opting for international destinations as airfare discounts make overseas trips more attractive. Data from travel app Hopper shows that while domestic fares are down 3% year-on-year, international flights to Europe and Asia are 13% cheaper. Weaker inbound travel to the U.S. due to stricter border controls and Trump-era policies has prompted airlines to slash prices. Travel agents report a surge in bookings for Europe, while budget-conscious Americans staying stateside are focusing on road-accessible locations. And that's our offering on business news at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. The news continues.
And now in sports, Nigeria's leading table tennis player Aryna has slipped one spot in the latest International Table Tennis Federation World Rankings, while his compatriot Fatima Bello made notable progress in the women's standings. According to the ITTF's Week 27 rankings, Aryna moved down from 23rd to 24th in the world, despite maintaining his tally of 1,140 ranking points. While Aryna experienced a slight setback, Fatima Bello climbed 4 places to 92nd in the women's world rankings with 230 points. Despite not competing since her appearance at the World Championships in Doha back in May, Bello benefited from a favorable rankings adjustment. Newly crowned President Federation Cup champions Accra United has announced a 10-day break for players and officials. According to the club's management, the team is expected to resume full preparations for the MPFL 2025-2026 season and their CAF Confederations Cup campaign on Thursday, the 11th of July. Accra United won their first ever national trophy at the grand finale of this year's President's Federations Cup in Lagos on Saturday. Accra United defeated newcomers and giant killers Abakaliki FC from Ebonyi State 4-3 on penalties after regulation time ended goalless. The Benue State government has overruled a resolution by the State House of Assembly and directed Moni Mitchell Sports Facility Construction Company to resume work on the renovation of Upper Aku Stadium in Makurdi. This decision comes despite a recent directive by the Assembly's Investigative Committee, which recommended terminating the contract, petitioning the EFCC, and initiating legal action against the contractor, Ebiegbe, over alleged breaches and failure to meet key project benchmarks. The stadium has been closed for over a year, ostensibly for the renovations to be concluded. The closure saw the state-funded football team Lobi Stars oscillating between Lafia, Bauchi, and Enugu for its home matches in the 2024-2025 NPFL season before they were eventually relegated after finishing bottom of the league. And that's all at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Opposition coalition party African Democratic Congress has inaugurated former Senate President David Mark as its interim national chairman. House of Representatives has rejected Senate's orthopedic hospital bill over lack of concurrence. We also told you that Guinea's ruling junta is set to extend presidential terms from 5 to 7 years with a 2-term limit. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Now, thanks for watching. I am Chiwete Onyema.